Welcome back. So as we wrap up this article, on page 395 they give an interesting definition of entrepreneurship. They say that creativity in everyday women and men's lives is always possible as tactical uses of in-betweens. It is the Entre and Prendre of entrepreneurship. Entre means between, and Prendre means to take. The translation is quite liberal here. Entre for creating space. Again, I'm not sure that entre necessarily denotes creating anything, but I guess, that's when you're an academic and you publish, you can rename things and kind of make up definitions. But he's basically saying that entrepreneurship is taking something in between, taking something within this space. So this is kind of interesting, right? You have to ask yourself, we can understand entrepreneurship as the act of creating an organization or creating an alternate counter-narrative, and that would mean that entrepreneurship is the establishment of a heterotopia within an organization. Or quite frankly, it could be a heterotopia out in the open market, and that the longer that it lasts, it starts to develop its own space and place that are unique, right? Because you think about it. Let's say you get a construction job and they say, you're going to do this construction job and you're going to do it in 3 days and you're going to be done. Okay, fine. So you can interpret this as a heterotopia, right? Because it's a third area. It's different from your normal routine, right? You're normally, I don't know, maybe you're working at McDonald's, or maybe you're not working at all because it's in the middle of coronavirus. And so for 3 days, you're going to be a construction worker with a bunch of your buddies. And then the boss, so you've got a heterotopia. Your boss says, great job, guys. What I want you to do now is do this second job, and that's going to take 5 days. So you've got a 3-day heterotopia and then a 5-day heterotopia back to back, and then that turns into an 8-day heterotopia, right? And then the boss is so impressed with you and says, hey, what I want you to do is do another job that's going to be another 8 days. And then it becomes a 16-day heterotopia. And the longer this heterotopia exists, well, then you kind of start to formalize your relationships with the other people within your heterotopia. And as those relationships formalize, you start generating tactical ways of doing things. Place is starting to be created. Maybe even establish like a telephone number, like an official telephone number for calling about these construction projects. Ooh, that's kind of an example of place. And then what winds up happening? Then you start developing kind of a strategy and a long-term vision for these repeating heterotopias. Now you start creating space. So what you've got to ask, and the way that I interpret this is he's trying to say that a big part of entrepreneurship is fostering creativity, but I'm not sure that it was exactly an act of fostering creativity that was the entrepreneurship. I feel like it was creating the separate space was the entrepreneurship, and creativity was the byproduct. Whereas the author is saying you're trying to foster creativity and the organization is the byproduct. I don't know about this one. What do you guys think? Make sure you comment down below. There is one thing, though, that Daniel Hjorth and I agree on, is that a big part of entrepreneurship is being open-minded. Don't silence people. Like, listen to their voices and think about what they're saying, right? That's a big part of this homo ludens, right? Unleash your inner child, right? Let that inner creativity out. Ask bold questions. Try new things. And that's unfortunately what has been silenced so much with this homo economicus. So whether you believe that entrepreneurship is generating creativity, or it's creating an organization that supports creativity, or whatever, I do think the main lesson that you need to take out of this is do what it takes within your organization to bring out creativity, whatever that means, right? Maybe it's bringing in artists to paint your walls like cool colors and cool shapes, or having like a safe space where you can discuss new ideas, or maybe the whole place is a heterotopia, the whole organization. They always stereotype Google as a giant heterotopia where people are on scooters and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and the whole organization itself is a heterotopia. Again, I'm not sure that it matters as long as you are letting those voices be heard. Awesome. Hope you've enjoyed this playlist. If you did, give me a thumbs up, that's a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I especially want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think? It's a chicken and the egg problem. Is entrepreneurship the act of generating creativity, or generating an organization that creates creativity? See you in the next playlist.